Hi, today we're going to talk about Mendel's genetic. It's a topic really important. Have you ever wondered what is our body structure? What is the meaning of DNA? Because the human being have a genetic history. Animals have a genetic history too. But what is the relationship between animals and plants? An animal, plants, and human being. Why? We have certain characteristics that animals have. So, in this video, we're gonna try to explain that the nature is really coincidence with the plants, and animals and plants nature it's really coincidence and is directly related with human body. And that coincidence, it's named DNA. Every human being and every alive being have certain undetermined kind of DNA. So before to continue explaining these genetics Mendel's, we have to talk about some scientists like Darwin. But who was Darwin? Was a very important and popular scientist who studied the biology. And after Darwin, we could learn about Gregor Mendel's studies. Darwin made a lot of studies, but their studies about genetic were called pangenesis, were wrong, were incorrect. Thanks to Gregor Mendel's studies, we discover the relationship that human beings have. Other popular and famous scientist was Lamarck, who created a theory too, but his theory was incorrect too. So now we're going to focus in Gregor Mendel's theory. As you could see, in the 19th, Gregor Mendel provokes a great turnaround about our nowadays genetic, because he studied pea plants. How is possible that with Gregor Mendel's studies about pea plants, we could determine many characteristics of our genetic, like as a human? Yeah, that was possible because Gregor Mendel found the direct relationship that we have with the pea plants. As you could see, he mixed many pea plants and made a lot of experiments with them, and he take into account determined conclusions. To be specific, he determined 3 conclusions about the human genetic in nowadays. He made a lot of experiments, and he discovered that if he mixed one kind of pea with another kind of pea, he could discover certain kind of colors, size. For example, you could see here that with the mix before, Mendel discovered that from green color he could make orange pea colors. So that's really surprising. He discovered the exactly relationship that could have certain kind of pea plants with the other, and how they behave, talking about genes, how they behave in their reproduction. He could given us many knowledge about our genetic. As you could see, a man and women who are joined could give the life with certain DNA very specific. But that relation, according with DNA, comes from one kind of father and one kind of mother joined. And something that caused me a lot of impression is that he made studies about pea plants, and that pea plants were really coincidence with our genes as a human being. As I told you before, for me it's really surprising how he could mix certain provokes hybrids, and from that hybrids he take into account one kind of genotype and phenotype. Wow, that's surprising. Did you know that our skin color, our height, or heavy, or eyes colors are directly related with the kind of DNA of our father, of our mother, even though of our grandparents, my brother, my daughter, my my children's, they have one kind of genetic according to my DNA. So thanks to Mendel's and and their studies, you could see that we have many of our knowledge about genetics nowadays. So I recommend you that please investigate more about Mendel's genetic, because it's really important to know how we have many characteristics about about our structure of our body. Well, now, as you could see, we obeyed some kind of a structure, and you could see that in this structure we have a dominant and we have a recessive gene, and that dominant and recessive gene crossed provokes or caused kind of results. You could see that the dominant gene create the most of the genes orange color, and the recessive gene just provokes one green color P. So that's a logic that Gregor Mendel study and share with us. As we could see, Gregor Mendel created a genetic diagram. This genetic diagram obey two kind of parent Y and Y. And if we combine with Y and Y green color parent 2, we obtain certain kind of results. You could see that we have in the genetic diagram parent 1 and parent 2. They are orange and yellow. And we could create P green color or P orange color according with the structure, but always is going to be dominant the part in the one. You could see that in the F1 generation, all the pea plants resulted orange color.